It was a clear morning at Fort Ridge, the kind of morning when the air carries the scent of iron and dust, and the steady rhythm of marching boots fills the horizon like a pulse. Sunlight spilled over rows of soldiers standing in perfect formation, uniforms crisp, faces solemn. Flags fluttered against the sky, metal glinting faintly on their chests. And yet there was a silence that felt unusual for any ceremony. Today, General Adam Carter wasn't just receiving a medal. He was confronting the ghosts of a past no one spoke about. Carter had witnessed the world through smoke and gunfire. 25 years of service had carved his face, scarred his hands, and weighed heavily on his eyes. To most, he was a legend, the man who had led men through impossible missions, pulled survivors from burning convoys, and never left a comrade behind. But behind the legend was a story even he wished he could forget. As the announcer called his name and the band played softly, Carter's hand shook slightly. Not from nerves, generals don't get nervous, but his mind had drifted far from Fort Ridge. It was back in the mountains of Kandahar, to a night drenched in rain and fire, to the face of Private Daniel Ross. Daniel had been one of the youngest in Carter's unit, barely 20, always smiling, always first to volunteer. A soldier who reminded everyone that good still existed, even in war. That night their convoy was ambushed. Mortars, gunfire, chaos erupted from every direction. Carter ordered a retreat, shouting over the explosions, but Daniel stayed behind, seeing a wounded villager trapped beneath a collapsed wall. "Just 30 seconds, sir," he yelled, the last words Carter ever heard. The wall gave way, and by morning, Daniel was gone. The rescue team found him shielding the villager he tried to save. They called him a hero, but Carter could never accept that. To him, Daniel had died because of his command. Every medal afterward felt heavier, colder, emptier. Years passed, missions changed, ranks climbed, hair turned gray, but the guilt never faded. He never spoke of Daniel, not to his wife, not to his men, until today. The Silver Star of Valor, awarded for a classified mission that saved hundreds, sat inside the small black box Carter now held. But his breath caught. Alongside the medal was a nameplate, Private Daniel Ross. The inscription read, "For bravery beyond duty." The base fell silent, not out of protocol, not ceremony, but because everyone saw the weight on the general's face. A man who never faltered suddenly seemed crushed by the war he had carried inside him for decades. Carter traced Daniel's name with his fingers, touching a wound that had never healed. Time seemed to stop. The wind held its breath. The flag hung motionless. Finally, his eyes lifted, and for the first time, his voice shook. "This medal doesn't belong to me," he said softly, gazing at the horizon. "It belongs to a young soldier who believed one life was worth more than his own. A boy I failed to save, a boy who showed me what courage truly means." He placed the medal back in the case and walked to the memorial wall by the parade ground. Hundreds of names were carved in stone, soldiers who never returned. He knelt, laid the box beneath Daniel Ross's name, and bowed his head. The base, thousands of soldiers, fell silent. Many had hidden their pain behind discipline, yet, watching their general kneel broke something inside them, the invisible armor they all wore. Tears flowed freely, for Daniel, for every name on the wall. Carter stayed there, whispering words only he could hear. When he finally stood, his face carried a calm the soldiers had never seen, not the calm of command, but peace. He looked at his men, then at the sky. "Remember this," he said. "Medals tarnish, uniforms fade, but the lives we carry inside us, and the ones we couldn't save, shape who we are." The soldiers saluted, not out of duty, but love. The band remained silent. The ceremony did not continue because everyone knew they had witnessed something sacred. That evening, after the crowd dispersed, a few young recruits approached the memorial wall. The box lay there, glinting in the setting sun, beside a single handwritten note from the general. "For the bravest soldier I ever knew. Rest easy, son. You taught us all how to live." No one touched it. Weeks passed, the wind eventually carried the paper away, but the story spread from soldier to soldier, across bases and borders. When people spoke of the medal, They said the base had fallen silent. Every man who heard it remembered why they wore the uniform in the first place. Every life, every sacrifice remembered forever.